So today, I'm going to be showcasing my working T95 in Minecraft. And just quickly to get something out of the way, this is a T95. It is also a T28, you may know it as. It was originally called the Heavy Tank, T28. It was then redesignated to 105mm GMC, that is Gun Motor Carriage T95, which doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well. But then it was redesignated to Super Heavy Tank T28 because of how thickly armored it was. And the other gun motor carriages of the time were lightly armored, at least in the American military. And another thing, this is a T28, and it's also a T95. I'll be calling it T95 throughout the video, just because that's what I know it as originally. But this is also a T28, and this is also a T95. Roving the Tracks does not change the name, as Wargaming and Gaijin may have lied to you. So what is the T95? This is a American super heavy tank that began development in 1943 to help break through the defenses of the Siegfried Line over in Europe. And they decided the best way to do this would be a casemate, non-turreted, very heavily armored assault gun type vehicle. By the time the first prototype of the T95 was ready for combat, there was no need for it anymore. So they took it to the Aberdeen testing grounds, they put it through some trials, and they used it as a test bed for components of super heavy tanks. Speaking of which, the T95 weighs 95 pounds. Speaking of which, the T95 weighs 95 tons, and it is, I believe, the heaviest tank the US has ever created. And because of how stupidly heavy it was originally just the two tracks, but they had to add on another pair on the outside to reduce the ground pressure and make sure that the inner tracks don't break themselves just from the sheer weight of this thing. And on that note, you'd think to propel such a heavy vehicle with four tracks and all this armor, they would give it a hefty engine. But no, they actually gave it a, I think, 400 or 500 horsepower Ford V8, which is the same one that is used in the M4A3 Sherman, which did fine for the Sherman. Sherman's quite mobile, but for this thing, it is horribly underpowered. It accelerates horribly slowly, and the top speed is limited to, I think, only 13 kilometers an hour. How they expected this thing to be shipped over to Europe and used in combat, I have no idea. And they actually even considered it for attacking the islands of Japan. I don't know how they were expecting to get this onto a boat, get it to shore, and then load off of the boat and then climb giant sand berms and rocks. I don't think they were thinking that far ahead when they made this. Now, all of that weight comes from a lot of armor. This thing has 305 millimeters of frontal armor, and then it has, I think, 60 millimeters from the side. These plates are, I think, 40 millimeters in real life. And the top is very thinly armored. I don't know why they did that. It seems like a very bad idea, considering how relatively short the tank is. Armoring the top seems like it would be a good idea when you can have, anti-tank guns or just straight up other tanks shooting at the top, but I'm not a tank designer, so what do I know? The T95 is packing the same gun off the T29, the 105mm, and this was going to be used to siege gun emplacements and casemates and stuff like that. So it was never really meant for an anti-tank purpose, but it could fight tanks because this gun is quite capable. I don't actually know the penetration numbers on that, but if they're going to use it in the T29, then I have to assume it was pretty good. Now for the Minecraft build, this tank is actually already quite small. It measures
7
by, I think,
11
forgot to count. But most of that is just track. This part is just track, just the front part. There's no hull here. And all the sides are just track. So there's actually not a lot of room for me to work with making the internals. So you'll see that on the inside, it's quite cramped. It actually has quite a very spacious crew compartment with the tiny engine just stuffed into the back, and then, everything else running through the middle. But in here, we have the engine taking up most of the room, transmission in the back, and this is all the space that we have to work with here. So you have the commander, you have whoever this is, I don't know. There's nowhere to put crew positions, you have to understand. So I'm trying my best here. But gun is up front. That's about it, really. So you'll see that it does drive very slowly indeed. I had to actually slow down the engine to make this realistic. But you'll notice that it doesn't have neutral steering. So it can't turn in one place like most tanks. It has to actually creep forward while it's turning, because the American engineers really hated this thing or something like that. I don't know. They just chose not to give it neutral steering. You have all this room and they didn't do it. I don't know why. Anyway, let's see if we can hit something here. So the gun doesn't move in the mantle. In real life, it moves left and right about 10 degrees to either side. I think it's 11 degrees to the left, actually. But here it doesn't move left and right, so you have to fully hull aim, like the Strids Volume 103, for example. Let's try to hit this guy here. Maybe not if he keeps moving, but I have no idea where that went, I'll be real with you. Let's just hit the church. This is an accurate representation of attempting to break the Siegfried line. You can pretend there are some gun emplacements in here. That actually went a lot lower than I thought it would. I believe that is the hole right there where it hit. Yeah. Anyway, as you can see, it works. It's a piece of shit, but it works. And let's go take it against some real players and see how it does. Alright, so I'm here in the T95. Quite a crowd here today. I did have to auto-load this thing just because I didn't feel like getting a human loader, but I made the loading pretty slow to make it realistic. So let's see how this thing does. It doesn't seem all that bad when you're just testing it, but you take it out and it's like, well, its speed is not. Also, what happened? I can't go backwards. What happened? I don't know where I want to go. Not that I can really go anywhere, given how slow this is. I feel like that guy's gonna jump me if I don't turn around, so we're gonna do that. This lack of neutral steering is kind of hurting right now. Can he at least wait until I... No, okay. Please wait until I at least face you. I can't elevate the gun anymore, so this is great. That shot went absolutely nowhere. I can no longer use the right track. Love that. And I'm pretty much dead. Yeah, that'll do it. So that is why you don't use realistic tanks. Again, this thing is just a piece of shit. It's too small. There's no room to do anything in here. And also that tank is good. But, you know, mostly I blame myself. No, mostly I blame the American engineers who made this thing. It's all their fault, really. If you really think about it, yeah, they should have made this like maybe twice as big. That'd be great if they could do that. So we're here for round two, because that didn't go so well. There's someone out there, but I'm waiting until I start moving to shoot them. Just because that'd be kind of scummy otherwise. Alright, there he goes. That was too high still, I think. That might have hit, actually. Or is that too high? I don't know. No, it's too low. What am I doing? That might be on. I'd rather not get too close, but I think we have to here. Unfortunately. Also, this transmission is designed so poorly that whenever I stop moving, it turns to the right just a little bit, if you see. So that's kind of messing me up. I'm on someone's right, which I don't love. I can really only fight one person at a time, and even then, this is not going well. Oh, hi there. Fancy seeing you here. He's just got rammed up the butt. I don't love this position. Might have been too low still. This gun is not very powerful, actually. Just given what it's loading. And he's gonna outflank me like a okay, no, this is lost. This is entirely lost. Don't do this. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yup. I can still shoot, actually, I think. Not anymore. Oh, God. And then he just drives away. No common courtesy. Uh, yeah. So that's why you don't bring a what was intended to be a gun motor carriage, as they called it, to a tank fight. And if you do, don't go too close, because then they just do that. If you ever played this in a game like War Thunder or World of Tanks, then you'll know that this can definitely happen. So, final thoughts. I'm sure if they actually did use this to siege defenses in islands of Japan or anything like that, it probably wouldn't do too badly. But you can see some of the issues with being a tank. Although this isn't a very good representation, I will say, because the armor is not quite as thick as it would be. Well, it's thicker than it would be, but it's not as effective as it would be in real life. So, kind of hard to judge there. By the way, don't think that I didn't see the poll. I know that the Leopard 1, which I will be building and making a showcase video on very soon. I've just had this cooking for some while, so I wanted to take it out. That being said, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.